It's totally not working. God damn it. Hang on.
No.
Still
There it is.
Do you hear it now?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Until their client either buys or fucking
sober. Fucking sucks. Boring, right? So boring. I want to kill myself.
Fairy dust. It doesn't exist. It's never landed. It is no matter. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not fucking real.
YouTube, Facebook, Medium, SoundCloud, Twitter, Instagram.
Hey, we fucking did it. There we go. We got it, Henry.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What's good,
Let's
man?
go. Hey, what's up, man?
I love, dude, I love that fucking song. And the song is fitting. The song is so fucking fitting because, man, that was the song that we associate with like that energy, like that bull market, like the bull vibes. And dude, they're coming back. They're definitely coming back.
You took the words out of my mouth, man. It's exactly what I was going to say. Like it brings back that time, and it's so fitting. So I can't even add anything more other than repeating what you just said.
Hell
But
yeah.
Eclectic Method is, so I got to meet him in Lisbon, and just a cool dude, and obviously like amazingly talented, right? Like he's such a cool crypto bro.
Yeah, dude. He's like, man, okay, he's a real artist, and it's weird, like, it's weird because his style, like his art is so different from anyone else. Like there's nobody on the planet like him. But like, you know, artists are weirdos.
Yeah.
Like they're just weird fucking people and they're very different. He is that. And he had like such big chances at success. And he was very successful for a while too. Like he performed on like David Letterman's show with Chuck D. Like he's had success. Yeah. He could have made it very big if he wanted. He just pulled back because he just did not like the industry.
Wasn't he on Fallon too? Am I crazy that he was on Fallon, or am I just thinking the Letterman one?
It was one or the other, so it might have been Fallon instead of Letterman. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
He's just an awesome dude. I fucking love that guy.
What's funny is as someone who like doesn't do graphic arts and DJing and all that kind of stuff, like but knowing kind of the type of work that goes into it, putting a remix video like that together. Like for me would be impossible. You could give me a year and it would never look like that.
Yeah.
But he's like insanely talented when like, what was the one video he had where everybody was kind of like shit talking him? Like I fucking hate Eclectic Method.
Oh yeah. Right.
That awesome? That was a good one. Anyway, I like him, but GMs too.
GMs, man. All right. I got to send some links out. Cat's here watching. I'm going to invite him up. I think Moisty wants to join too. And I think we're going to have, what's his name? Biggie, the legend fucking Biggie Poppins. Man, I have the weird, like, I'm developing a man crush on that guy.
The notorious Biggie.
Poppins. That's him. The one
That's
and only.
Okay. He's coming.
He said yesterday he's coming, but you know what we do? We do casual. If he comes, he comes. If not, no. But it's like 6 a.m. for him. Well, fuck it. It's like 7 a.m. for me. I've been up doing this since 4:30, so Whatever.
been
It
up
ain't
since
early.
like 6 a.m. my time. We have a
Yeah.
like a blizzard coming over here, so
Oh, you're getting what we just got. Hell yeah, dude.
yeah,
It's a good storm.
yeah. Plus the lake effect from it. So yeah, should be. And the Bills game tomorrow is going to be like in the middle of it, so it's going to be awesome.
I love it. All right.
Yeah.
Where do we start, man? Like, I do prep for this ahead of time, and I know where to start, but it's just one of those things. Like, where do you start with a week like this?
Yeah.
Like a
I mean, I feel
historic
like you got to
week
start. Yeah, start with the king, right?
with
The king of coins,
the king of coins,
Bitcoin
fucking
ETF.
historic moment that happened this week. Let's
Twice.
start there. Twice. Dude, like it happened in perfect fashion too. Like it happened in a way that I'm so happy it happened, right? So like, okay, Bitcoin ETF was approved this week. Man, a monumental achievement. It's dumb to call it that. It was a huge day for Bitcoin. Again, probably other than the day Bitcoin, went live, probably the biggest day in Bitcoin history, probably the biggest day in crypto history, just because it's now the floodgates are open. This is when the masses really come in and just start to come in. But this is when people get exposure to Bitcoin and crypto who never had it before, couldn't have it before. Motherfucking Biggie's here. Hang on.
What's up?
What's up, Biggie? Good to
GM
see you, man.
fellas. Sorry, I'm a little late.
GMs.
Dude, there's no late, there's no early, there's no time in NFTs. So
I
it's good to
DJ'd
see
a
you.
little bit too much last night, man. Yeah.
You drank too much last night? Is that what I heard?
No. Just DJing, dude.
Oh,
I'm a little more boring than that these days, Huda.
dude, you're hanging with the right crew, man. A bunch of boomers here. I can't do any of that anymore.
Yeah. Dude, so you guys are talking Bitcoin ETFs. I'm assuming we're talking about the little fright we got last evening.
Was there a fright? I mean, the like price?
Yeah.
I mean,
42-ish.
eh.
Yeah, I think
think
we'll see 35, to be honest. Don't freak out, folks.
No. I've heard that. Sell the news, a little dip correction before the halving, and then maybe a trend back up towards for the rest of the year. I think that's sort of what a lot of people are thinking right now, is that it's actually playing out as advertised.
Yeah, every solid bull run requires a good pullback, right? Nice little
Okay.
retrace.
I'm trying really, really hard to find a take I saw yesterday that was from Kobe. That was flawless. Like called this like 6 months ago, spot on with how it would play out, how it was going to pull back, how we would have a sell the news event. And he's like, man, guys, you buy right then and you have a free 2x. And like
Yeah.
the way he called it was so freaking perfect that it's like I want to bet on this as a free 2x, just like he said. I gotta find this, man.
Is he still very active though? Like he's kept away, right? Which is even more impressive to me. Like that guy's awesome.
Yeah, God, I want to find this because it was like a Discord message, so it wasn't even like it didn't even show the name Kobe on like the actual post or whatever. Dude, there's no way I'll find this, right? Maybe I bookmarked it, but anyway, I mean, guess the point is, I think this was a sell the news event. It was totally expected, and does not stop the celebrating in any way because it is that big of a deal. I guess his point was just there was so much money like just kind of waiting for this event. So of course it's a sell the news event. And I'm not saying that as if like, of course, like I knew that. I'd have like no exposure to anything. I don't know shit in crypto. But it does make sense. And like, and honestly, you better believe it's going to have a nice rebound, like a ridiculous rebound. Like again, billions came pouring in a day, in hours. We've seen before, like, hey, a 500 million sell-off and all of a sudden the price tanks, right? That little money moves the market. How does $4 billion of inflow, even though I don't know if it comes in the same way, like, again, I'm not technical with this stuff. I'm not in finance. But how would that not move it in the opposite direction? So just kind of a matter of time till this kind of works itself out. But God, what a huge freaking day. Katz, I sent you an invite, by the way.
Oh,
the best was that you called me. So like within a minute of the ETF news, you called me. We're talking, and then as we're talking, you're like, "Oh wait. I think Katz is telling me it's a like
Dude.
Twitter got compromised," and it was honestly, I hate to say it, but it was a glorious moment because to watch the SEC the Third Reich of the SEC get compromised like that was I think you said it. You're like, man, this is just so crypto, and it is.
It's perfect. Like, can they do anything right? How do you trust people like this? Like, it was perfect. I am so glad it played out that way just for the memes. And now you've got these guys. I don't know if Leonidas actually inscribed this, but you got these guys who like put those tweets up as inscriptions, like forever, ever now preserved on the blockchain. Man, if somebody wanted to sell those, again, depending on who actually inscribed them, but like those might have a little value to them. They are part of the history at this point.
Poetic, right?
Right.
I saw the whole thing, right? Like some hacker did hack the SEC and then was able to make a trade and make money off of it. I'm still suspicious about it. I don't know about you, Henry. It feels almost like a blame the intern situation type of thing, right? Where it's, we were hacked. I don't know. Was it verified, like 100%?
So it was from like outside security companies, and even X weighed in on it, saying they were SIM swapped. I guess the thing that really gave it away, because I'm with you. I'm like, I think they had a drafted tweet and somebody just sent it early.
Right?
That's the thing. Now, like if you look at the SEC account and you look at the liked, like that liked tab, they were liking a whole bunch of degen stuff, so it was pretty clear somebody was going in there to fuck around.
Okay.
But at the same time, I don't buy it. I don't. I think
here's because I saw X's tweet about it. I still wonder if it's an inside job. I just know it took and maybe the SEC has a direct comm with X, but how you can get your account back that quickly is and people have said that is beyond me. It took us weeks to get anybody at Twitter when the Kong's account was compromised. So how they got it back within minutes is bizarre.
Yeah. I mean, you got to believe they've got the bat line, right? They can call up Elon and get that done. It was such a big deal, dude. I mean, that chart, that's what we were really laughing at, was the Bitcoin chart that went straight up and then straight down. That was maybe the funniest part of it all. I don't know if you saw that, Biggie, but I've never seen the chart look like that.
So I was in a Discord waiting to see if I could get an allow list for a new crypto thing, right? Like the undead one.
Yeah. And
everybody's talking because it was like first come, first serve. So you just got a button push. And that's when that happened, man. And I'm not kidding you. Like the minute that happened, some kid in there was like he just went ballistic. He was so angry because apparently he had gone long with leverage. Yeah. And he was like, I just lost 20K, it's my savings. I'm so fucking pissed. And you hate to see that, right? Like those are the situations where sometimes like, well, you should have been fucking around with leverage, young boy. But at the same time, man, it pisses you off, right? Because if it was another person or another way around, they'd be going after somebody to put them in jail, right? Like some type of market manipulation or everything. That's where I'm just like, dude, I do believe, okay, they got hacked, but how convenient, right? And whoopsies, God knows how many people lost their shit there. What's up,
Most importantly, Biggie, did you get the crypto undead first come first serve? Did it clear the way for you to?
Not in that one. I do have some. I was lucky enough to get 2 from other communities, but not from that one. That one I missed out. It's nuts, man. I don't know about you, but like my Phantom wallet is super slow. Maybe it's because I have a whole bunch of other extensions on the browser.
Dude, that's getting out of control.
Yeah, but it's been super slow. And then at the same time, it's my same issue, right? With like ordinals that we've been talking about, Huda, like with Solana. It happened to me back in the day. Like I remember when I was trying to mint Degen Ape Academy, the bots, man. Like,
dude, it's out of control. Bots in full fucking force trying to get anything at this point, like mints, whitelist, any of it. We're gonna get into crypto undeads because we're gonna talk about some really hot upcoming mints this week and I think the week after. There are some big ones, and that's all part of the conversation that we are legit back. We are legit back. And for so many reasons, the Bitcoin ETF is just tip of the iceberg here. What that leads to, I think, is something that maybe blows 2022 away. Of course, we're all hopeful, but I think there's a real good chance. I'll even show this. This is actually really cool. So Johan, I think just a day or two ago, showed the search trend for crypto, right? And crypto was ramping up. And I'm like, okay, awesome. That's perfect. That's what we do want to see. And I'm like, well, shit, I need to look at NFTs. Like, how are NFTs looking? And like, barely any movement, right? Like, barely. But check this out. Again, I don't think this is anything novel, like something we don't know. But look at how NFTs, the interest in NFT lags behind crypto. Like, without fail, like 1 to 3 months behind. So, if we're getting this little spike here, I want to believe at the very least that we're going to see the same thing here in NFTs in just a matter of time. And I think we'll have that, right? I think we have stuff coming like whatever the hell's going on with Portal, but we've got some really mainstream facing things happening that I think are going to drive interest into NFTs. So again, the Portal thing, I really, really believe the Apple Vision Pro, which is out in like 3 weeks, is a piece of this puzzle too. It's just going to open people's eyes and their mind to digital, the digital world, the metaverse, and we are going to talk metaverse again. But also, I think that's going to unlock that concept of digital ownership and like digital property. Like, you know what I mean? You can conceptualize it better when you can see it. Right now, people don't understand the JPEGs. They don't. But I think in AR and VR, it makes a lot more sense. So just a hunch. And I think that trend right here, I do think we'll see that little ramp up to match crypto. So really, really good shit ahead of us. But like, let's look at the market just to see how we have reacted so far. And so far, it doesn't look all that great, right? I mean, so the index is here measuring the value of the NFT market. Past 7 days, we're down 5.5%. Now, we did get a little spike right after the ETF announcement. Well, that's because these prices are measured in USD value and the price of crypto was pumping, right? We were up for a brief period of time. So that meant NFTs were up as well. It was kind of short-lived, though. So that was probably, what date was the ETFs? The 10th? I feel like the 10th, right?
I think it was the 10th.
Yeah, so you can see right around here. That is when we came up and, looked like we had maybe officially entered a really hot period for NFTs. Again, it was just like a day or so because already yesterday we pulled back. So we're looking at global NFT sales here. Yesterday, 46.3 mil in global sales. Now, the day before, that was the big day. That was the day right after the first day actually of the ETF being live. 52.1 mil in NFT sales. So that was our best day in 2024, but also our best day in probably 2.5 weeks. So it was a good sign. Again, a good way to start the year. I think the week or so before, we were just kind of treading water. This felt like the real start of it. So good to see that. And then guys, like new NFT projects coming out, doing some serious numbers. That is another one of those indicators, right? So Tin Fun. That was wild last weekend. I don't know if you guys got in that raffle. Did you?
No.
No? Okay.
Didn't get it.
I was the one who told you about the raffle.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I didn't get it. Good morning, by the way.
Our buddy, good morning, sir. Our buddy Rebel did land one. He's the only one I know that hit. Yeah. But man, those guys, just a couple hours after they dropped, they were almost at 3 mil in secondary sales. So number one on the leaderboards. I like this leaderboard, by the way. Less BRC20s like dominating and more traditional PFP projects or, NFT projects at the very least, I'll say. And I want to point this out. I know I'm kind of jumping around. So we had the meta where everybody moved from Ethereum over to Bitcoin over to Solana. But man, these L2s now all of a sudden are constantly in the top 10 and often in the top 5. So the Gas Hero stuff over on Polygon, Dokyo on Avalanche. There was even another new Avalanche project called, I think it was Steady. They were in the top 10 here right after Mint. So again, I'm thinking maybe we're seeing a shift again to other chains, and I'd love it. I'd love for it to be the L2s, right? I just like seeing other people get their time in the spotlight.
It's got to be for gaming, right? I think we are going to see a lot of gaming assets like just boom like that, or have like these mini moments, or maybe prolonged. But yeah, I can't see them being on like Ethereum or Bitcoin, right? Like it's got to be L2s. I'm so surprised with Avalanche though, man, because the last cycle Avalanche didn't have crap. Well,
I mean, that's such a good point. So I was going to put together a tweet And I did one, it just wasn't the same. But I was gonna say this is not 2022 or 2023 Avalanche.
Mhm.
There is something different there. The biggest thing I noticed that's different, and I mean maybe there's no substance here, but it's they got influencers this time. They didn't before. And so if you guys don't know, like Bored Elon Musk, Bored
Yeah.
Elon, maybe
Yeah.
whatever that account name is, he's building over on Avalanche. Like that's a guy that brings some serious eyes, and a guy like that alone, not enough to move a whole ecosystem, but actually maybe. So Bored Elon is making some games using that M squared, that gaming toolkit. So they ran at least one, I think 2 events over there. Dude, there was hundreds of people in that instance playing this little mini game, but he's off in his own world now building games. And again, everything I've seen so far is they're over on Avalanche. So that's just one of my little indicators. I'm like, okay, you got the personality there, you got the gaming narrative, and all of a sudden you got PFPs that are actually doing numbers. Avalanche is definitely on my radar in a way they weren't before. Like again, those 2022, 2023 Avalanche, kind of games and PFPs. That wasn't it. I think they're onto something here now.
I still have PTSD over time over on Avalanche.
That was brutal.
Remember the DeFi protocol over there?
Yeah, I got them mixed up. I thought that was like an optimism thing, but it was over on
That
Avalanche.
Was that a DeFi
was.
protocol? Or
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
early, like a couple years ago, and
I feel the same way. I got wrecked with Snow Dog. I don't know if you remember that one.
no, I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, that
Sounds
one.
very degen though.
Yeah, it was. It was trying to be like an type of play.
Okay.
And
Yep.
like
Yep.
all those, they just cratered. Same here, man. And even with NFTs, I tried to play that game, and dude, it was just horrid, man. So that I guess that's why I'm happy that this time around, like they've got their ducks in a row, because yeah, you have a lot of competition coming in, right? From Solana, from Ronin, from Polygon. So
Yep.
It's gonna be fun, man. It's really cool. Is there anything like specific you're looking at that's coming down the pipe, Huda?
On Avalanche?
Yeah, on Avalanche.
There is one project. I'll pull it up. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I'll have to look in my follows, right? Who I'm following, because I followed them recently. But the reason I'm looking at them is because they got the influencer dudes like starting to talk about them, starting to tease whitelist and stuff. So I'll bring that up in a second. But there is one project for sure. By the way, welcome to Johan and Moisty. Guys, we've never had 6 people on the show before. So everyone who is listening in the audience is now on stage. It's how we do it. Welcome, guys. And guys, just because I do want to try to keep this to an hour, I don't think we'll actually make it. Like, I don't think it'll be just an hour, but keep takes kind of tighter just so we can get through this stuff. I do have a hit list of topics, but again, guys, welcome. I think it's our first time together this year.
Thank you, man. Happy New Year, fellas. I know it's a little late to be sending well wishes, but glad to be back and excited for the rundown, bud.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man, I don't think we've talked really this year. Like a little bit in Discord, but
No, it's been we haven't caught each other, so I'm happy to make it this morning. And yeah, man, I think I truly think we're in the beginning of this this cycle. So
yep. Well, we're gonna keep
Mouth to God's
showing
ears, you know?
why that is. Like, I mean, we've got so many freaking examples of why we are in the beginning of the cycle. Again, we got some
Huda,
people
can you
here
hear me?
trying to. I got you now. Yeah. Good morning, Johan.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning.
Glad you joined.
morning.
Yeah. It's nice to see you on here, Huda.
Likewise. All right, check
I'm in
this
the
out.
middle of some sets, so
Oh,
Well, are
nice.
you
so I'll
working
just
out?
be in and out. Like I'm just, I'm just like my
This
morning
guy
workout, right?
Fucking
So
getting it.
Yeah.
You see Johan shredded this year. All right, do your thing. Chime in whenever. Okay, so NFT projects again. Well, okay, let me back this up. So we saw our 2024 high for NFT sales. We saw some new projects come out and do well on secondary. This is the biggest thing, though, in my opinion. The biggest indicator that we're heading for a really, really, I guess, just a real NFT run. We see this on every run. People go and they sweep up Grail collections, right? That is like how these things start. So we saw a new wallet, by the way. This was not like an existing collector. I mean, of course, somebody could make a fresh wallet, but this person, brand new wallet, swept up how many punks? 15 crypto punks, 18 squiggles. And I think this same wallet too, and I'll have to check, I'm not going to do it now, but was also buying up Fidenzas. And again, that is what you see. You see people going in, buying up Grail collections. I don't know if that screams collector to me more than it does investor, but again, you need to see that. That is a sign.
Can you post the wallet link, and I'll do some blockchain sleuthing?
I don't know if I have that handy. I probably could get it quick. Let me see if it's like really obvious on here. But man, okay, so like I'm just on Grail sale like alert. Like I am watching this page to see them roll in, because I do think that's what we're in for the next few weeks here, like probably next few months. But I'm just expecting some very, very big NFTs to start moving, and we're seeing bids on Grail CryptoPunks too. You know, like these $500,000 to $1 million bids. So it's all starting to come. But like, look at these CryptoPunk sales. These are on the past 7 days, I guess, but it was really just a few days ago where a lot of these were swept up. And again, those 15 kind of all at once are buyers all the way at the right.
Did you read Cosmo de Medici's recent minutes not too long ago? Like, he agrees with you. But he was talking about the things that he sees that he's calling for 2024. And one of them was Asian investors coming in and going absolutely ham on the Grails. So that could very well be what you just saw.
Dude, I mean, didn't Tin Fund just prove that? Like, it's literally an Asian project, you know? I didn't even realize at first. We had to scroll down to find the writing in English. I mean,
and they're big in the
$57 million just in a lottery for public men. Like,
they're big in the ordinals ecosystem too. So again, I know Biggie, I know we've talked about ordinals and script, all that stuff, and I know you're still not, playing in there yet. I
love it. You know, I'm all for it.
I do, but I'm going to keep poking you because I do think it's a thing. If you don't get in, I really think you might regret it at some point. You know what I mean? Not necessarily for the big bucks, but still for the learning part of it. Like
Biggie needs a badger. We need to get Biggie. We got to get Biggie a badger. Get him in that Discord.
Perfect way to start. It really is. But so when we were talking on NFT Live yesterday, the narrative was around how expensive they are. And they're right, because some of the mints we're going to show here shortly, they're like 0.03 Bitcoin to mint starting. And this raffle that we just saw for Shadows, 0.2 Bitcoin, like crazy expensive. So there's this narrative out there that Bitcoin mints are way too pricey, and a lot of them are. But then I'm like, guys, most of the things I've minted were completely free. Just pay the fee. Or they were like 0.0001, like something like that. Like $20 is what I'm paying for the ordinals that I've been buying. So,
well, that's the thing you're going to see on Bitcoin. It's the luxury chain, right? So, if you want to do free and fast and volume trading, then you go to Solana and Ethereum.
Yeah, Bitcoin's definitely not fast.
Yes, or free.
SCI.
But guys, just so you know, dude, Say is definitely cooking too. I wonder if we'll have time to get into that.
That's the alpha, in my opinion, right now. Bitcoin's a little too expensive. It reminds me of, I don't know. I just think SCI, listen, Huda, you and I follow the same person, and you and I are some of the few people that have an actual respect for this guy, and we kind of follow his word.
Beanie, right?
Must be Nifty Q.
Dude, I love Nifty Q.
I've been, I have his notifications on. I follow his SCI trades, and I've kind of just been shadowing him a little bit as much as I can publicly from what he puts out. And I mean, it's been good so far. I think the SCI has that. We're under $1. We're under 80 cents. I mean, that thing gets to, $10. That's his price goal. Fuck it. I'll take that ride.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't know he had like a price target of that. I was not expecting quite that much, but yeah, dude, I do listen to Beanie. So as soon as I started seeing him talking about Say, I call it Say. I think that's how it's pronounced. But as soon as I saw him talking about it, of course I looked at it. Dude, at that time there was like 4 or 5 collections, like entirely, like all NFT collections, at least over on the Pallet Exchange. At this point, more like 30, probably closer to there.
And
in fact,
cheap.
there's a mint I'm going for.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a thing about that too, right? Like I think when you look back and you see the squiggles and all these other like legendary NFTs that now have made people rich or that have become like taken center stage, they all have that type of narrative, right? Like when you hear Snowfro talk about it or all these OG punks, they're like, yeah, you know, they were a couple of bucks, we'd trade them, we'd swap them, whatever. Like that's why it doesn't sit well with me sometimes, these like astronomical mints. I'm not saying they shouldn't exist, you know, like I have gone for those types of mints before. I just think that it's indicative of the mania that we're going through right now, especially when we're talking about Bitcoin as luxury chain as it is. You know, I'd like some functionality with my chain too, sir.
Well, Biggie, the difference is like the cost that it costs to mint something is partly based to the fact that you need to pay the miners to get that data on the chain. Yeah. It's not going to the founders necessarily.
Yeah, for sure. I've been reading up on that, like how much it costs to be able to put that data on chain, man.
You know what I'm hoping? Like along with the price, I think it's a big learning opportunity for Bitcoin, because there was, and actually still is, this narrative out there with Bitcoin that like you don't have smart contracts over there, so they're just JPEGs. That's all they are. That's all they can be. And that is changing quickly now, both with the ninjas that are minting this week. And we're going to talk about ninjas because I do think that's one you probably shouldn't miss. But maybe even a bigger example is the quantum cats. Those are doing something. And I just learned this last night. I think they just put it out last night. Those are actually going to evolve over time. So they're using like recursive inscriptions that are going to call back to other images. Like, the tech on Bitcoin is so much more impressive than I realized, and that I think other people like would ever give it credit for, but it is. So Bitcoin is actually, man, it's evolving right in front of us. It's pretty damn cool.
But it is still sort of the caveman of NFTs. Bitcoin is like the king of chains. But at the end of the day, I had a conversation with a marketplace the other day, talking ordinals, and I was just like what cool stuff can you do? And they were explaining like, you know, different things on, you know, recursive inscriptions and parent child, and I wasn't being a jerk. I was just like pressing a little bit on like, well, what's cool about that? Like parent child as an example, like what's cool about that? And they were just like, haha, yeah, nothing really that cool about it. It's just new. And I'm like, yeah, that's by the way, I love ordinals and I think it's super cool. I think it'll be long standing. But at the end of the day, it's the tech is it's kind of like inscriptions have kind of hacked the Bitcoin chain, right? It wasn't intended necessarily for this. There's no smart contracts, so everything's going to be kind of funky, a little bit clunky. So I just wonder, like, how far do you think we can actually go with what's possible? Because the things that come out that I hear people refer to that are like, oh man, this project's coming out with, there was like a wizard, what was it? The collection of 666 like wizard hats.
Shadows.
Yeah. Like cool. Like I like you hear what they did and like, it's cool, but it isn't, you know, you compare that to, let's say, a utility-based project on mainnet, or a gaming project on a layer 2, and you're like, well, yeah, that's cool for what's possible on that chain, but is it anything compared to what is it anything substantial that could ever make it like a useful chain other than provenance?
So imagine, so here's the scenario that I recently came up upon, right? Like, have you seen Liquiditum or something of the sort? Huda, basically it's a lending protocol for ordinals, right? So picture this: you go there, you take out a loan for your shadow hat, you're very happy, right? You have some time, but maybe you need to make a transaction, maybe you need to make a move, and either you need to get your shadow hat back, or maybe time is running out and you need to pay the loan before losing your shadow hat. Well, good luck, sir. If the market is going nuts, I don't want to know the fees you're going to have to pay just to get that transaction. And then you're going to be like biting your nails for an hour to hope that transaction got through and you were able to get your NFT back, or if you were able to pay the loan. Those types of things are a reality that you're going to be hitting up on, you know, when it comes to Bitcoin. And like, again, I'm a huge fan of ordinals. I just think that eventually, like, there are limits to the infrastructure and the functionality that you're going to be able to give these things. And I think that same limit is, it's creative potential. That's one of the things that I've read from some of the devs. That there's like these constraints force you to be more creative, but there are limits. Eventually, you will have to adopt an L2 for it.
I mean, almost definitely that's the case. But I also think we're being a little short-sighted. Like Bitcoin is at, I mean, man, not even, well, okay, 1 full year into ordinals inscriptions being a thing, to go from, again, they're just JPEGs and you can never do anything more because no smart contracts, to where we're at already, it takes time to build. And I think they're already showing it can do way, way, way more than, again, we first gave it credit for. But I still think this is just the start. There'll be new protocols, new kind of, they don't call them token standards over there, but new protocols, right? And a lot of this stuff is based on JavaScript. There's a lot of coding that's going on directly on these ordinals. So in a way, I kind of think the sky's the limit. It's just much more technical. You got to be very, very technical, smart to be able to build out like this. But I think when these guys like the Quantum Cats, like what they're doing, I think when they do it, well, you see everybody start copying and following that, and then you get innovation after that. So I don't think Bitcoin NFTs ordinals are limited in any way. I think it's just that we're that early. I think they'll be comparable.
Huda, I agree with you that, because of, yes, but the reality is the block size is the block size, right? And transactions are going to take whatever they're going to take. Maybe that will encourage people to not flip out of, it'll force you to be more judicious, right? About what you mint, what you hold. And you're not going to be able to just flip out in and out of it that easily. So we'll see what the behavior, it's going to be really interesting to see what the behavior is, right? And the adoption of these new assets in relative to like these other chains, right? Where these NFTs are almost turning into just coins that you can flip in and out of, right? With fractionalization and all that stuff happening. Yeah,
spot on. Speaking of those shadows, which, man,
they're pretty dope.
People had a shot at a sub 1K inscription or ordinal. So again, collection. The size of the collection was 600, I believe. It was an auction from like 1 sat all the way up to 0.2 Bitcoin is what you can bid. If you max bid at 0.2, you get entered in the raffle for the shadow. So we did get our winner, and I love this because it played out in just such perfect degen fashion, right? So the winner instantly is selling it. Instantly. He's selling his shadow hat that he won. And I love it. Actually, the Discord message right here. Like, so the creator here, Dota, congratulating him, and the reply immediately, "Thanks, man. I'm selling it." Like, it's so fucking beautiful.
You didn't share the screen, Huda.
Oh, shit. Hang on. Thank you, sir.
Dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so here's those shadow hats, by the way. So they have, what is this, 8, 10? 10 of them. I think they were just giving away one, but the winner gets his pick of which one he's going to take.
Which one would you pick, Huda?
Oh, dude, you know what?
I like those glasses.
That is cool as fuck. Dude, you know what I just realized? It's like, this is Bear Snake, is it? From Taproot Wizards. That's him. But I like the wizard.
The hoodie's probably the most coveted one, probably.
Is it really? Okay. Hoodie right here?
Yeah.
Right?
What did he sell it for, Huda?
I think he was getting 6 Bitcoin offers.
Holy shit.
God.
Yeah, dude.
Lord.
Right?
Yeah.
Sub 1K. Okay. But here's that message. This is just what cracked me up. Nice pickup. Thanks, man. I'm selling it. Like, instantly to the creator of it. Like, fuck it, dude. I'm taking the money. Again, perfectly NFT, perfectly degen. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, he had a .weth handle, so I mean, it was kind of expected.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's a good roll of the dice too, as far as like the entry into the collection. 0.2 Bitcoin, not cheap, but with that potential upside, 1 in 600 chance. If I had it, I'd be rolling the dice on that. So like, I got a lot to get to be honest, but I want to show, just because we're on the Bitcoin topic, kind of what's coming and what's happening right now. These Quantum Cats, dude, these are very, very technical, but we'll start with this. Dude, they're really fucking cool. This one, the first one, it's the Genesis Cat. It's a 1/1 right now being auctioned at Sotheby's. Now, I wonder if this is like the rest of the collection where it's also going to evolve over time. I kind of think and hope it will. Maybe not. Maybe it is purely just a 1/1 piece of art. Right now, $30,000 bid on it. And I do wonder, man, I'd love to know if that one actually evolves too. But hang on. There's one other very, very cool Bitcoin thing that's happening at Sotheby's. And again, this is just to show like, the belief in that ecosystem, but also again, what were your words, Johan? It's like, not that it's the rich man's chain, but like there was something about it, the value there, the expense, the luxury chain. I mean, so we've seen this too. I think you guys at least have seen this where people are buying rare sats, and those rare sats, man, people are just putting entire focuses on hunting for rare sats on exchanges, right? And scooping them up if they can. But anyway, Sotheby's auctioning some rare sats here too. Current bids. Hang on, is that current bid $400 and $700? Yeah, I think it is, right?
Yeah, very few. There's 6 bids, 3 bids, 4 bids. We all know they rock it up like before it ends, right? Right before it ends, that's where the real action takes place. Let's see what they go for.
Yeah, it's just funny they allow a bid of that size to even go. Like normally they have the starting bid, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
They don't even know how to price it.
They may throw a little bid in there at that price, but yeah, no way it goes for that. That's that's way too cheap. Okay. I don't know. Do you guys want to get into some of those big upcoming mints? We can go there, but also
I just well, you know what, we can come back to it. I had an ape question, but we can as we kind of close out, I can go that direction.
Why don't you hit us with that? Because if it's board ape stuff, I have some stuff around there too.
Yeah. You know what? I've just noticed a sentiment change right now on Twitter, in Discords about apes. You see a bit of ape coping going on. I'm not dogging Yuga, but I've seen some interesting discussions. I think who's the one guy? Anon. Is that I think he rocks the Nakamigos PFP maybe, and he was making some really good points, some of which I didn't agree with. He was kind of, I don't want to say he was shit talking punks. Maybe what he was referring to was what Yuga was doing with punks, or maybe the lack of what they're doing. But he was just talking about the ecosystem in general. Like, this is what happens when you have VCs, and we've talked about this before on the show. This is what happens when you have VCs involved in a project. Make no mistake that when their vesting period is over, they're going to dump ApeCoin so quickly that it'll continue its downward trend. And you've released well over 100,000 NFTs, and it's very difficult to give value back to people when you have that many things out there. Now, granted, Yuga's got a massive stockpile of funding, so I have no doubt they're probably working on things behind the scenes. But it's just kind of funny. You know what his main point was, and it just came to me, was like, you kind of took the community vibe away from Bored Ape Yacht Club when you went more kind of corporate on the VC side. And I could understand that. Like, it would change the feel.
May I just have one really small comment off that? I agree with everything you just said, except for the last part where the vibe changed. I think that had more to do with the NFT space as a whole, because across the board, every project, it was no longer GM. It was, oh my God, we're going to zero. So you may be like, you are right. But I also think that just the space in general has also had a giant piece to do with it. And I'll be honest with you, I love watching them cope. I'm sitting here on the sidelines and I'm like, oh yeah, that one guy who was like 500 grand on the wrist, and now he's like, my shit's worth 50K. I'm sitting there and like, I own a lot of Yuga, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, good, fuck you. Like, sorry, just had to say that.
But Moisty, Azuki, you don't get the cope in Azuki. Pudgies, you're not getting the cope in Pudgies. Kongs, you're not getting cope there. There's been a lot of talk of OG mainnet projects that have kind of like, a lot of them have kind of faded with the new meta. But the reality is there are projects that are still sticking around and kicking around. And it's just interesting to see Yuga, who we've kind of held as the standard for so long. I didn't realize that apes are, I mean, they're probably going into the teens.
Dude,
like apes, ape floor is like 21 or so.
I think they get down to 15. I think that's realistic, depending on when news comes from them, something that gets people hyped again. But mutants are damn near for ETH at this point.
Are
And
you
I
talking
agree with your
15
take,
ETH?
Henry. Like, I think they lost the culture. I
Yep.
think they got corporate. Gordon, like, okay, Gordon starts trading. Gordon starts chatting, and you see what people do and the way they follow him and the amount of money they spend on anything he just breathes on. He's what's missing from Yuga Labs. They no longer have that culture part. And then, like, this video to me was the perfect example of what their problem is here, right? So you guys saw this, I'm sure, right? Did you guys see their other side video?
Yeah.
No.
This was their original video they put out teasing their 3D avatars and also teasing a return to the other side's coming in February. The video is shit. It's incredibly choppy because they fucked up the frame rate when they were rendering it, right?
Like, got rendered, yeah.
So they did it wrong. Here's the thing. When we say they lost the culture, man, the culture is a bunch of techie fucking nerds who understand how to do something like this, and it's not even something they would have to like look into ahead of time. They know it. Like NFT people are very techie people. They're degens. So the fact that this went out like that, and that their reply from Illo was, "Oh yeah, it was X," like blaming it on something else just shows how little he actually understands any of this. Not that he's their technical guy, but it tells me they don't have the right technical people behind the scenes now. They don't got the right people for the culture in the front of it. They're
Quality
in trouble.
control, man. Yeah.
But how are you supposed to keep a culture so active and happy when what we're seeing happen to the space in general? Like, and I'm just playing the other side here. Like, what has another project done that everyone's like Pudgy Penguins crushing it, you know, CyberKong's crushing it. But outside of that, man, you know, 90 like we all knew but refused to believe, 99% of projects are dead, you know?
Well, they're in a no-win position because of how high they were. You know what I mean? You can't.
Yeah.
And Henry's been here. He understands that deeply. And I have that experience now with crypto bats. You reach a certain price point and there's nothing you can ever do to live up to that expectation. And that is the expectation. So they were fucked no matter what. But
look at other
Gordon,
side. Other side was a 2 minute, and what are they down to? 0.3?
That's brutal. But yeah, I mean, in a way, I think that's a fuck up on the pricing. Although everybody's done that. Everybody's overpriced.
Yeah,
NFTs.
everyone's, yeah.
But again,
look at elementals.
There's just, I think there's nothing they could do to avoid this. I think everyone should have expected this, but they're doing themselves no favor. And I guess that's the only thing that is in their control. And I do feel like they've lost, you know, their edge, but it's all about the culture. They do not feel like that, you know, the core of the NFT culture, which they were for so long. So again, my final point is just when Gordon talks and when Gordon buys and when Gordon says anything, he still like bleeds culture. You feel it on him. Nobody else in Yuga Labs has that. And until they have that, I don't think they're ever the same. English, welcome, buddy.
Yeah.
Not on stage. I see him out and, you know, watching along here. Good to see you, man. Anyway, they fixed that video, by the way. They put it back out. And but at that point, it's, you know, the video actually wasn't the point in the end. It was still everything we said. It was just the quality and the team and all that stuff. So
the one thing like Bored Apes always had for them was that they were the Veblen good, right? Like they were the de facto, this is the one that I want to rock because it's the best out there. I don't think they anymore.
No, you're right. It was that luxury thing. You're right. And I saw somebody chatting about this recently too. It's not that anymore, man. And it is a bummer, but I think when you lose it, I don't know if
can we agree that these change like the seasons? Like they go in and out. Like we've seen in the real world companies falter. Shit, we saw fucking GameStop be resuscitated by a bunch of degens on Reddit. I'm not saying that's a very different play, but I mean, I don't know, Apple had a dark night.
No, it's a good point, man. That's literally what happened to every project. A bunch of degens, whales got together. We're going to pump this. And then we saw floors on projects that we can't even name anymore. What, for ETH, you know?
Is Yuga Labs going to be the BlackBerry of Web3? That's what I wonder. It was the thing that everybody had to have. And again, they have a stockpile of money. But I wonder, and honestly, this is just like I don't want to call it self-reflection. I think this is something we've realized within like CyberKongs is like you're trying to build, you don't know exactly how or what IP plays, all the stuff we've talked about before. it's literally, it became so simple. Just go back to what your people want. Our people are degens.
Yes.
Give them degen shit. And we've seen a massive, I don't want to call it overhaul, a massive change in just how people are thinking in Wall Street Kongs, etc. And I don't know, Yuga Labs never had that. That's the thing. Yuga didn't. Yuga attracted a different type of person. I'm not saying there weren't degens there, but it was a ultimate flex, and it was pumped by celebrities who weren't part of our culture, never understood our culture, and so I think people were just happy to ride that wave. And I'm not shit talking them at all. I'm just starting to wonder,
No, you're right.
Will they be the BlackBerry? Because they weren't really born. Well, they were born from within the degens, but it almost got hijacked a bit when you had Jimmy Fallon and was it Cameron Diaz and God knows whoever else
Snoop
was, Justin Bieber, French Montana. You have all these people who were either paid or their agents told them to buy one for the flex, Eminem, and then they don't give a fuck. And where are they?
Did they sell their soul? I mean, at this point, it kind of feels like it. Like, and I think that's almost a perfect way to say it, because the soul is what feels like it's missing at this point.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's a really good. That's a really good way to put it. Because I'll be honest, man, other side's a fucking mess. Like,
now that's gonna get interesting.
And it's listen, it's basically staking what they've created, a staking game while they continue to actually build out the platform. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, heavy metal was a fucking mess. The current other side fighting these monsters is a fucking mess. So, I mean, you guys are 100% right. You know, nothing you've said has been incorrect or wrong regarding their moves and what they've done.
So still time potential. There's still time.
Yeah, and I do think it's interesting. Like, Metaverse was declared dead last year, and it felt it, right? Like, I even buy into that narrative to some degree. Like, I think we all know it's coming no matter what. Metaverse, at least one, is going to be, you know, kind of the thing everybody's in.
It's here. And this is what everyone has to, I guess, accept. And it took me a while to accept it, but the metaverse is here and it exists on Fortnite. And I know people don't want to hear that, but that's it.
True.
The best explanation I've ever heard for the metaverse is, like, when you start spending more time online than you do in real life, you're in the fucking metaverse.
Dude, Biggie,
so I think all of us here are in the metaverse.
That's
right?
it, dude. I've been telling people, I'm like, I think you don't get it. Like, we were in the metaverse 20 years ago when AOL chat rooms and message boards and shit like that existed. That is literally the beginning of the metaverse. And so I would argue it's always been here. It's just evolving. But, like, this story here, it just tells me sentiment has already started changing, in a positive way. And that makes me a little more optimistic about Yuga Labs' other side still. But, like, dude, this huge announcement of a Ready Player One metaverse with Warner Brothers and with Ethan Klein, I think
it's not going to work.
Futureverse with the
it won't, because it's Warner Brothers. But the fact
it's not just that, but you're not going to overtake Fortnite. I hate to keep saying that name.
No, you're right.
Like, dude,
or Roblox.
Yeah, or Roblox. Like, I was on Fortnite last night. I can now play Rocket League. I can now play Lego's Guitar Hero. I can play Lego's version of Minecraft. You can do the regular Fortnite, battle royale. You can build your own world. Like, that's the metaverse, man. Oh, you want to invite your friends over? Boom, you fucking invite your friends over. Like, what's going to happen, what I think is going to happen personally, is we're going to see a secondary marketplace akin to Counter-Strike Go. I know I said this last time, and I'll stop after this. But we see that secondary marketplace open for Fortnite, where now I can sell my assets to you, XYZ, and we're there. There's millions of players. You log on to Fortnite right now, there's like 2 million players worldwide playing right this second on Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time. How is Warner Brothers going to top that? What are they going to come out with? Batman's not going to do it.
So I'll tell you what those games are missing, though. And there is something they're missing. And that I think maybe kind of defines what a metaverse is. It's the persistent world. Because, like, those games are incredible and I love them, but they're all like these, like, instances of a game or mini games. They're not like this living, breathing, open world. It's just, it's always going to be there, and you unplug and other people are still there doing their thing. So neither of those games do that.
And also, how much is Fortnite gonna allow you? How much leash or leeway are they going to allow you in terms of ownership and sovereignty and adopting this Web3 ethos that
we have seen a small bite of that when it came to Nike recently. Well, not recently. At this point, it's probably 3 or 4 months ago. But Nike came out with a world on Fortnite that you could go play on. And they also came out with a NFT sneaker drop that we connected to our Epic account. Now, we haven't been able to use the sneakers in game yet, but the whole point was we bought an asset on a blockchain through Nike. We connected our Nike account, our .swoosh Nike account, to our Epic account, which is connected to Fortnite. And the goal, so now I'm playing Fortnite and the rewards I'm getting are going to my .swoosh account. My .swoosh account will one day be integrated into Fortnite. So like these sneakers that I bought, you know, it could be years, but these sneakers that I bought from .swoosh that's connected to Fortnite will be integratable one time. So I think we're starting to see the breadcrumbs of what you just said. I don't think it's going to be here for a while, but I do think we're beginning to see breadcrumbs form in that sense.
And by the way, we just
got... that might be their competitive advantage, right? Like Web3 native metaverse plays that they'll be able to, you know, embrace many of these new novel mechanics and ownership, you know, ideals like faster than a Fortnite or Roblox would, right? Regardless, I agree with you. I think like those other two behemoths already come with really hard walls to get through, right? Which is like a ginormous fan base that is already familiar, and we know how sticky these platforms can be. So I agree with you. I do think though that there will be space maybe for one or two other Web3 metaverses that maybe can be a little more, what would you say, you know, fringe and you know, where you might be able to experiment with all these different stuff a little bit faster than you would with the traditional ones.
I agree, but what would you, as a Web3, what would you hope that player count would be, like running player count for long-term success? That's where I think the issue comes in. We still don't have that mass adoption that we've been talking about for 3 years now. So until that actually comes in, it's going to be the same group of, you know,
10,000 wallets.
Exactly. Versus the 2 million concurrent players online right now.
You know,
I'm going to go smoke a cigarette.
Yeah, I'm a big mass adoption guy, but there is no incentive for Fortnite to ever integrate Web3 because right now they make all the money. I mean, and I know there's royalties and all this stuff, but like, you know, they already have millions and millions of players giving them money. Like, why? What is their incentive to?
They already have, and you don't even know it, and that's the best fucking thing that could possibly happen.
Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff in Web3, I wonder if we have to like broaden the definition, and it doesn't have to actually be blockchain, right? Like, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't.
Well, those Nike shoes are on a blockchain, but they're also connected to your account.
Right.
Think like Cats. The way I look at it is Valeria. You guys don't mention NFTs whatsoever. You know, it's just a mobile game, blah blah blah, and that's exactly it's the dirty word. So that's exactly right. Sorry, I'm going for the cigarette.
But so we did see, guys, just I got it on screen, but like a taste of the .swoosh integration. I think again, this is just them talking about marketplaces, being able to pull your assets off their platform and sell them on third-party marketplaces. But that could also be the start of these, you know, assets being integrated into other games. Like maybe it's just a step in that direction. But man, like, I wonder if Roblox is more incentivized in any way to actually go blockchain, right? I don't know in what way, you know, putting the assets on the chain.
Until we have regulatory clarity, Huda, I don't think they want any of that heat. You know, like these companies, like what Moise was saying, it's just like they're already sitting pretty. They, you know, they don't have anything to worry about. Why would you take on like all this potential regulatory pressure, and now you have to disclose these things? And it's like, no, I don't see them embracing that until there's like more regulatory pressure.
Damn.
You know?
Yeah, they can sell V-Bucks. Yeah, V-Bucks don't require them to register with the SEC, right? So they have an in-game token to a certain degree. That's not under any heat from any regulatory commissions. I think it's I think it's a ways
that
off.
you can earn too. That you can earn in game as well.
Yeah,
you can earn V-Bucks in game.
Yes, sir.
Didn't know
I
that.
didn't know that. Yeah, I did not know that.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I started this current season with 300. I currently have 1,200, something like that.
Oh, okay. On the
So
battle pass, I think there are V-Buck like kind of
also,
rewards. Is
yeah,
that right?
also in Save the World. So there's
Okay.
there's actually multiple avenues.
Oh my
but
god, dude! I want to play Save the World with you. By the way, like I was just showing my dude. My daughters have been playing Fortnite all of a sudden for the past 2 weeks. Like they never played before. They're on it every day now. It's so cool to me seeing them game because it's a little more like, yes, it's the everybody game, and yes, it is casual to a degree, but it's pretty freaking hardcore too. Like it's a legit. You can get sweaty in that game. But okay, so I was trying to tell them about Save the World mode. And Henry, I think you played that with me too back in the day. Did we play that?
What is that mode? Because it doesn't sound familiar.
It's like a co-op mode. It's you versus hordes of zombies.
And
you and some
yeah.
buddies. Because like, man, we got on that. We were on that day one. So we've got all like these founder skins and stuff. Like when it was still in beta, and I just got the itch to go revisit it. And I did hop in it the other day, and so I'm like looking to play it. So anybody, if you want to go play Save the World mode, please hit me up. I would love to play that mode.
I just played a game the other day because I don't get to play much at all, but Madeline was playing and I was just like, hey, can I hop in real quick? I got 3 kills, man.
A Fortnite?
I got 3 kills. Yeah.
Dude, let's get a family sesh going, dude. Like that would be
They
so
play
much fun.
all the time. Dude, my kids are the same way. They play all the time.
I gotta hook the kids up.
Why are you guys playing all this violent games, bro? What about Nintendo Switch? Let's play some Mario.
You know what? One of my kids is playing it on the Switch even. Like because we've used every console in the house, like we have to have one being on the Switch to play. But oh dude,
yeah, I
some
just
good old
joking,
Mario.
but like the thing is like anytime I pull up my Xbox or Sony, like I don't have Sony, but anytime I pull up the Xbox, there's always some violent shooting thing. You know, it's not that I don't like that stuff, but it's like I just like the Nintendo Switch for the non-violence part of things.
Johan, people like to kill each other online. It's just a known
Only
fact,
online.
right?
Nowhere
like
else.
gold.
Yeah,
No,
we
yeah,
all got
exactly.
things, and we're
It's
trying to-
like the purge. We're
the
allowed to do it
fantasy.
online. We don't do it in real life. And this goes back to like GoldenEye
Honestly,
and
though-
all kinds.
Well, isn't it fucked up how killing is just so in our nature and in our culture? It's like all we want to do.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah.
Have you guys read that
who
novel by Orson Scott Card, Ender's Game?
Oh, why does that sound familiar?
Oh,
I haven't
yeah,
read
yeah.
it, but I know of it. I'm trying to think how or why.
So basically, they're training all these kids in video games and in tactics and all that stuff. And at the end, they give them a joystick, and then they become like the controllers of this war machine. And it goes out, and they're pretty much like navigating these drones into enemy territory and killing them all. And the kids don't even know they're doing it. So that's in our future, probably.
Jesus.
Smart. Huda, are we going to be able? Because I know, like, you wanted to try to keep an hour, which will fail at that. But do we get to do an aliens segment at the end?
Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, I'm going to start bringing this all full circle. First, okay, this is an important question, and I got to ask it. Maybe our last main juicy topic. And I think Moisty said it. We still only have 10,000 people trading daily on Ethereum as far as unique buyers.
Mm-hmm.
New people are not coming in yet, other than maybe those big sweeps we saw. Maybe some new wallets coming in buying grails, but we're still not seeing any type of mass adoption coming to NFTs. Where are we at? When is that coming, and is that closer now because of the Bitcoin ETF?
No.
What is really going to get their asses in here?
Ethereum ETF. No, I don't.
Maybe.
I think it's a slow grind, man. I know we always talk about what is the event that does it, and I'm just not sure if there's a singular event that does it, or if it's literally the continuation of brands coming into the space, eventually utilizing the tech, and then it just starting to permeate out there. No different than, to a certain degree, cell phones did. Everybody didn't have a cell phone the day Nokia or whoever started releasing the first version of it. Like, it took time, and then eventually everybody had a fucking cell phone. So I just wonder if it's a similar thing.
Well, is it all still ultimately about Bitcoin? People first need to get exposure to crypto before they get exposure to NFTs. So with Bitcoin now becoming a mainstream kind of thing, do people start getting Bitcoin? They start learning about blockchain, what it actually is, and then finally they're going to try out this NFT thing they've been hearing about for the past 5-10 years.
I don't think so.
No, so completely separate.
No, because I think custodial wallets play a bigger role into it. I think it's I think it's sort of that idea of like you're using NFTs without realizing. I'll give you an example. Kongs are working with a big Web2 company that we've been working with, trying to put something together for some time. Their biggest thing, and this is a 100-year-old company, they do hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, and their biggest thing that they keep coming back to is the crypto part of it. Like it has to be easy. Whatever we do. What's that?
That's getting fixed like within months. Like I keep seeing from everywhere wallets. New wallets that cover all these blockchains, new wallets that don't have seed phrases like Portal,
but if it's
OpenSea.
If we're talking about like PFPs, right? Like, and we look back at what lit the fuse the last cycle, you got to say it's Yuga, right? Like the apes are the ones that really lit the fuse for the speculation and for all these newbies to come in and say, well, I understand this. I'm gonna pick the next ape, right? I don't put punks in there because I think they're a little more in between, like art and they were building a community for like 3 years before they actually came into the limelight and were like recognized for what they are these days. I think for this time around though, like you can't play that same process again because people already saw what happened last time with just PFPs, right? But I do think you're gonna have to have a narrative like it that really jolts people into wanting to play. Kind of what we saw now with airdrops with Jito, right? Like Jito lit the fuse for airdrop hunting. Most people weren't airdropping, hunting for airdrops until they saw the results from Jito. And now everybody's all over the place scrambling to find like that type of performance in other chains and other things. I think when it comes to NFTs, I really think it's got to be something like gaming or a dark horse candidate that people still poo-poo on. But I think, man, that one would be massive is music. If you can get a narrative or a music NFT that all of a sudden turns people into millionaires and like you have a rising Justin Bieber-like superstar that's Web3 native, that could pull in massive crowds.
I saw some interesting articles like just speculating that Taylor Swift does some type of NFT this year. I don't think that's likely, but you're right. That is a way that you bring like just everybody in at that point. Now, like if she drops something on Royal or one of those like royalty sharing platforms, would that be the moment?
No.
Still not.
Yeah,
I'm with you. Honestly, I'm with you.
I'm ready for my take.
Okay, go.
No, so I disagree with Biggie on the Yuga thing or the Bored Ape thing. What happened just before Bored Apes? I'm telling you because it was me. All right.
Okay.
The massive onboarding was Top Shot. All right. It brought so many people like me who never held a crypto, never knew anything about blockchain, nothing. Right.
I agree.
Top Shot brought everybody to the space. And it was still speculative. We all thought we were going to make money because that's what we were being preached to. And I got wrecked, right? But when I was in Top Shot and getting wrecked all of a sudden, and then all the people I was following on Twitter now were like, oh, look at these apes. And then all of a sudden, all of them are making money off these apes. I'm like, well, what the hell? Like, what is that? What is ETH? Massive. And it's exactly like what Henry was just talking about. Custodial wallets that you don't know that you even own a blockchain asset. That's what brings mass adoption. And so those type of, and again, I'm obviously biased. I think gaming is going to do that because when you get a fun game that you can all of a sudden you own stuff and you don't even know it's an NFT, you don't know it's on blockchain, you just are able to buy and sell it and all of a sudden actually make money and like, oh, this is really cool. And you don't actually know that you own a wallet, you own NFTs. That's the type of mass adoption that I've been talking about for 2 years because it was me. Like that's what brought me into the space. And then all of a sudden, like, well, I want to dig into what is this? What am I actually doing? You know, that's what got me interested. ETFs, it's financial people, man. They're not gonna come into NFTs because they got Bitcoin in an ETF or ETH in an ETF. That's just another form of investment for them. They don't care about NFTs at that point. But if I'm in a game that I actually own the assets and I'm trading the assets and I can now cash out the assets, and man, how am I able to do this? Like,
but that's the key, right, Cats? Like, aside from it being like a game that attracts people because they want to play it and because it's fun, yada yada yada. Like, you do have to have that DJ component, right? Like, there's like somebody made bank. Like,
of course. I'm saying with the apes though, that was like a pretty niche, like all of a sudden status symbol that didn't necessarily connect with everybody, and it wasn't like any normie could just get into that. You know, any normie today can still go sign up for a Top Shot account, not knowing they're in NFTs, and just because they like basketball, you know. And it had worldwide appeal. And again, you know, Top Shot's a whole different topic, but my point is just an event. Like we were talking about an event, and a mass adoption event can't be something like apes because it was, you know, it wasn't easy. It has to be easy. It has to be frictionless. People have to be able to do it on their phone, like with an email address, whatever. Get a
mobile too, right? Yeah, I think mobile could be also one of those on ramps. Right?
Exactly.
It has to be
easy.
It has to be
in
mobile.
their hand. Yeah.
I mean, this is like a mid-curve take, but could it be anime? And I say that because of the Azuki stuff that's starting to happen, and the
I hope it
is pretty fucking big.
Could be.
Again, I'm biased. I'm all on board. The Asian influence. We
need the
anime.
regulations over there.
I mean, look, guys, you got the director of multiple major animes that's making a series now for Azuki. It's fucking huge. And it's like, I almost was going to start calling, you know, like, or I have said this, you know, the anime meta is here or back. And I'm like, man, anime's too big to be calling a meta. Like Web3 and anime just go hand in hand, like forever at this point, I think. So
and the
something like this that's less
of it
hands-on be it.
It's in the culture, right? Like, like people that like anime, they collect. Like, you know, when you go into their houses, when you check out their phones, whatever, it's anime through and through. Yeah, that's a good take. I like that. It could definitely come from. I like the idea that it might you know, like as opposed to last cycle where it was in the Western world. Maybe that crazy catalyst moment comes from a different region, right? Like Asia, and that's
right.
By the way, Azuki does a magnificent job on their branding and their videos. Like they're really polished when it comes to their content. Nothing to do with elementals and the drop and the cash grab and whatever you want to call that. But when they put out their videos, it's impressive to me the way they're able to do their branding.
Okay, and I still think, and we're probably a year or two off from this, but VR still. I think I said it at the beginning too. I think VR is somehow, some way that catalyst or a big part of that catalyst. So very excited, dude. I'm so freaking excited that this is coming in a couple weeks. I was actually like, and I'm debating getting one. I really am. I probably will get one. And then I just learned this morning I'll have to pay an extra like $500 to get lenses. Like you can't use it with glasses. So that sucks, but I want to be at the forefront of this because I think this is the thing that seals the deal for people.
What was
what?
I was just watching that lady. I was like, is that lady having like an orgasm?
Yeah, I was wondering too, man. I was like, what's with that facial expression?
Like, what? That was...
I think, you know, like it'll definitely catch attention, Huda, but man, at that price point, I think still, you know, VR is a ways away just because not everybody can afford it, right?
2 years off, like, because I imagine they're going to have a cheaper model next year, but even that's still, oh, dude, holy shit, I just got the face.
I think we're easily minimum 10 years out of VR, actually. Yeah.
No way. No chance. No, that and I feel confidently about that because now all of a sudden there's tech that is making like these lenses like tiny, like tiny. It's I think we might be at the point of those like exponential like kind of gains or increases in VR tech, where we stagnated
all
for a
tech.
couple years. I think it's about to get a little more mainstream a little bit quicker. I mean, like, I don't think 10 reels is unrealistic, by the way, but I really think we're probably closer to 5 years till, I don't know, most people have one. Like, dude, most people I know have an Oculus, like, which is crazy. But
yeah, whenever I hear predictions on tech these days, I always think of that, what you mentioned, the exponential age thesis, right? Where you need to consider like any our biases on like reflecting on the past and thinking that it's going to play out the same way in the future is like you're not considering AI, like whether it's in medicine, whether it's in tech, whatever it is. Now you have AI, iterating way faster. So yeah, I agree with you, Huda. 10 years seems very far away. And I think we will have many moments where we're going to be surprised that things are just going to come out of left field and be like, yeah, found the cure for cancer. It's like, what? But yeah, that's, I think, the type of exponential changes that you see come from AI, right? I mean, we saw it just recently with, CRISPR and with, what is it? Coming up with a vaccine, right, for COVID. I cannot see how that's not going to be applicable in whether it's engineering, new materials, new medicines, same thing with hardware.
yeah, I love the take. Agreed with it. I think at the very least, piece of the puzzle, but a big one. And shit, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm such a geek over VR. Guys, what else do we got to hit on? I think we had a pretty good comprehensive talk about a lot of things. Oh, you know what?
We'll talk about mints.
Yeah, good one. Okay. I did a little talk on this earlier in the week. Crypto Undeads, of course. Man, one of the absolute biggest mints coming up next week. I think it's on the 15th or 16th. And a word of caution here for two reasons. One, I still am hearing some comments about the founder of this being a guy who's bounced from project to project. Okay. I've seen that from legitimate places. So, not surprising. And I also don't think it matters. People are in this to probably buy and flip. I think people are looking to buy and flip this more than any other project, though. Because ETH guys, I think, we're chasing these whitelists, thinking they're going to get their first, big win on Solana. I think, man, this is going to be, like a rocket and then dump hard, fucking hard.
Do you have any particular price targets?
Huda? So whitelist selling for 15 or so SOL. I think less than that then for my price target for whatever reason. Honestly, I think because there should be so much sell pressure on them. I
it depends on the art too, right? Like, I think that's the part that I'm like, the art better slap.
So that would change a lot of this. If they come out with some fucking fire art and they come out with, not utility, but at like some type of like game plan roadmap that actually keeps people around, that could change the conversation. But if it's just an art drop, I'm going to be like, yeah, all these guys from these 5,000 communities that all got 5 whitelists each, like, they're going to sell. Everyone's going to be dumping them. I got a whitelist, and that's my plan too. That's why I'm considering selling the whitelist ahead of time. Don't have a lot of faith.
Don't front run me, Huda, please.
Oh yeah. Well, all right, you got 2. You get one out first. No, yeah, you get one first. I'll go in the middle, and then you're third. But like Fraganas are the perfect example of this. Like ETH guys got in there, they pumped their bags, pushed this thing to 25 plus SOL, and now dude yesterday was selling for 4 SOL. Right now 6.5. Like, we'll see the same thing, but I don't think at such an extreme over on those crypto undead. So my price target there, like 10 SOL or so, I think it gets to, maybe a little more, but.
And I think that what their so-called roadmap, it's supposed to be, what is it, like a brand? Like they're going to be creating a brand, right? So I think they're like taking the Pudgy Penguins route. Which again, when you think about it, it's like crypto undeads versus Pudgy Penguins, which one's more accessible? Right. It's pretty clear. Although I don't know, I do dig counterculture brands sometimes, so they just need to be done really, really well. We'll see.
Yep, and we agree on that. Pizza Ninjas. I don't know if, I guess that's the real name, but this is the other big mint coming this week. I think this one's also on the 16th. It might be the 15th on Magic Eden. Only 1,500 or so, I believe, are making it to the public sale, and they're 0.03 Bitcoin. Really pricey. Man, if these were Taproot Wizards, I would say you absolutely buy them at 0.03. Now, these guys got a big following, and they are, some of the biggest influencers on Bitcoin, but also some of the biggest builders on Bitcoin. With that said, I think, man, 0.03 is a hard price to maintain. How do you guys feel about it? Are you plugged in? Do you understand what these NFTs are? And any thoughts on them?
I do, man. Just like I did with all the other ones I've faded. I just think it's getting ahead of its skis for my taste. But yeah, like you said, Huda, I might regret it. I might be wrong, but I need to feel that absolute conviction to fire away on Bitcoin, ordinals. To be
I'm
honest,
shocked by this,
dude. And I don't know, man. Like I do own ordinals, Huda. I don't know. Like I have like about 15 or something like that from early in the year where it was more. The waters were a lot more.
I didn't know you
chill.
had any. Okay, I didn't realize.
Yeah, no, I do. But yeah, right now it just feels like a damn mania, man. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm shocked that English is saying these are a grift. They're going to be a pump and dump. I really believe these were like a very high substance kind of team, and I think they are that. But also, I thought the product with, they did use this more as an application than a PFP. They even baked an SNES emulator into it, like on the blockchain, which is cool as fuck. It might sound kind of cringy and like unnecessary, but I love that. I like that they're preserving gaming history in a way on Bitcoin. I'm shocked to hear that from you, English. Is there a reason why? And he's in chat, by the way. I'm just watching.
I was going to say English is a wizard, so I think that's why.
I trust English for
cool.
English and Dead are like the two people I trust most in ordinals, and if English says that, then
man. By the way, we are really, really fortunate in Idiots to have some of the guys we have, like Johan, my brother Tickle, English, Dead, guys who are like deep in the Bitcoin ordinals ecosystem, like well connected, very knowledgeable. Yeah, dude, we got some ordinals dudes. So thank you to guys, especially for like sharing the alpha and everything. Ninja app. Yeah, it is a failed app in a way. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a good point. I hate to even call it a failed app, but I know what you mean by that. Huh. I need to rethink this, honestly. Henry.
Yeah, I love I like the ninjas. I have a pre-sale one, but like I'm glad I'm not paying 0.03, right? I paid less than that, so
maybe this is one you get on secondary when the price comes down. That's probably a smarter play. The 0.03 was just pretty damn hard to wrap my head around. Henry, I love you, man. Thanks so much for coming. Of course, like always.
Henry.
Yeah, love you too, man. Yeah, you guys have a great day. See you next week. Enjoy football this weekend. If you're watching, go Bills.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Good
All
shit,
right.
man.
See you guys.
And then the last one, guys, and again, this is not even this week, but it's the Quantum Cats. I do think that's a can't miss. We don't know the price yet, I don't believe, but anything Taproot Wizards touching is a must buy. Again, the price matters a lot, but I love it. I love after I read the tech. I love that they're pushing it. I love that these evolve. I love the team around it. Again, Quantum Cats to me must buy. English, you got to weigh in on the chat.
Do we have a price point yet?
No, we were going to get it this week, and they're minting next week, so we'll get it pretty quick. Man, I hope they're realistic. I really would love to try to get one. I think they'll be pricey though.
English says he knows what it is.
Oh, come on. Hey, nobody's watching.
Oh, he does know.
Nobody's watching. Give us a hint. Is it under 0.03?
Can't say.
All of us are just sitting here waiting for him to reply in chat. Like, come on.
So it's how many Taproot Wizards are there? I just want to know.
I think it's a 5,000, a 5K collection.
So 5,000 Taproot Wizards, 3,300 33 Quantum Cats. All right.
English, do you agree with my take that is a must get? You don't have to say anything about the price. Wait, Taproot Wizards just 2,100?
Oh,
God.
All right. I gotta say, I do like that more.
Okay, it's a must get.
Okay, must get.
It's a must. It is, and honestly, I will probably find any way I can to get it. I hope it's not an auction. I don't know what I hope, dude. I just want one. I want a very nice PFP on Bitcoin. I really do.
If you can get a Taproot Wizard, Huda, that'd be awesome.
I'm gonna grind it out in the Discord. I know it's not too late. I'm gonna try, but dude, our buddy English got one. So.
Oh shit! No way. Nice.
Okay, no auction. Dude, yeah, English runs their community spaces, so he's already got his not minted or anything yet, but or inscribed, but I think
But that's his, right?
it's
The one
his.
he's rocking. It's
Yeah,
pretty
man.
dope. I like it. I'm trying to see. He's like he's wearing like a weed, shawl or something. It looks cool. Like,
Oh,
right?
he's so cool. I am gonna try. It's so hard to find the time, but I am gonna try to get time in their Discord and grind it out. I'd love a Taproot Wizard, but again, next best thing, Quantum Cat. I'm gonna try. It might be one of those ones at any cost. I might have to try to get it. I think that highly of like Udi and that whole team.
A wizard and a cat. Yeah, those are two that I would definitely be looking to pick up. But that's about it, really. Honestly.
How about
the other?
How about? Hang on.
But I think a big part of it is that, right? Like, is that you can't just get a Taproot Wizard. You kind of have to go through the process and go to the community and get selected. I do think that there's something to curating your community, especially if you're in it for the long haul.
It's the way to do it. That's what Ninjas did too, though. But that is the way
It's a
that
little
works.
more gamified, right? It's yeah. Sign up to this, tweet that, blah blah blah.
Yep. I hate showing these and talking about them because this is one of my bigger conviction plays that I'm working towards. I really, really want one. I really, really want one. In the meantime, though, and I'll show you this. This is me just sharing like some of my moves, honestly. This artist, he's really becoming a guy on Bitcoin. I mean, in a way, he might be the biggest artist on Bitcoin. Like, don't hold me to that, but he's up there. But Harto, a lot of people talking big about that golden ratio collection, talking like future value of it. So people have been going back to his old Ethereum collections because he did start there and push those floors up pretty tremendously. I think his cheapest collection that you can get is like, man, like not 2 Bitcoin, maybe 2 ETH. Maybe he has a collection at 1 ETH. Now, this collection he just renamed. It was just Pol. He just updated it a few days ago to say buy Harto. And he also announced that this collection is going to teleburn over to Bitcoin. So I'm just telling you, I bought one of these, and I think this has some, it's going to have life on Bitcoin, and his name alone, I think, carries this a little somewhere.
I think teleburning is going to be something it's going to be a meta. I can't wait to see what people do with it.
I mean, you're into those like meta pixies and stuff too, right?
Yeah. Big time. But really postulating on like how, what other communities or projects are going to embrace this, so Huda, and maybe English, you'd be able to chime in here or Moist. I don't know. We have like a bunch of ordinal fanatics here, but I'd love to see teleburn. Like, I know, and it's obviously understandable, teleburning, you attack the Ethereum community first, right? But I would love to see what would happen, Huda, if they did that with Tezos.
So
because
Tezos to Bitcoin,
fucking fire, yeah,
dude.
Like Tezos has fire art, and honestly, I'm bearish on Tezos.
Yep.
I'm bearish on Tezos, but I love the art there. There's just got to be a way to salvage it, right? And teleburning seems just too perfect for me.
I'm gonna start tweeting that out, dude. I think that needs to happen.
Don't wait. Let's teleburn some of our own shit first, and then.
You know what? I might ask Zancan if he would mind if I did that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna ask him that in like, I don't know. I mean, not that I need his permission, but I would want to burn it on the Tezos side, like actually burn it.
Mm-hmm. I've been asking like a couple of artists. Some of them are a little conflicted, but having said that, it's like, it's like, okay, yeah, you do kind of want to have that child recognized on the new chain, right? But that there is a DNA strain right there that connects you to the original work, right? Like it's just, I guess, whether the artist would recognize a bastard son or I don't know, like somebody that fucking went over to the other side, right?
So does it just need to be that he recognizes it, or would he have to be the one somehow involved in the teleburn process?
No,
I'm gonna ask him this.
You don't have to ask permission to teleburn, from what I understand. If you own the asset, you can teleburn.
Well,
and again, I haven't heard of anybody working on tech to teleburn from Tezos to
so that is a process that does link the piece to, is that correct?
Yeah, there's going to be, you're going to have a transaction, right? and it's going to say the such and such token was teleburned over here. So they are linked to each other. They're just no longer in from the contract of the artist, you know. And I don't know, it leads to like these crazy philosophical talks, right? Where like, you know, especially with generative art, right? Like say you teleburn like a Mapan, a dragon from Mapan. It's like awesome, really cool. But it, you know, the original canvas where it was created, minted, birthed was Tezos. So I think like the only way you can justify or have it to hold its value is if Tezos eventually dies out, or you burn the Tezos counterpart so that there's only one, right? Because if there's twinsies, I figure it wouldn't hold the same value.
So okay, so me simply like inscribing like the image of one of my Zancans and then burning it on Tezos would not be the same, right? Would most people's eyes that would not count as like a true Zancan NFT? It would have to be a teleburn process that like does link them on chain.
I don't know, but if it's embraced, you'd be the first, and that counts for something.
Yeah, so basically on Bitcoin, it's just like what he said. First is first. So if you do it first, Huda, that's kudos to you.
Like even unsanctioned and not through a teleburn process.
I'm wagering that we're gonna see some crazy fucking be like, I teleburned my squiggle over there. I'm the first.
Right.
Right.
Huda.
Yes.
English is wanting to weigh in on this. Let him.
I already said to him, but also
he's got all the takes.
Is he coming up?
I sent him already, and then also I want to wrap in just a couple minutes, so keep takes kind of short at this point.
Yeah, I just want to hear what English has
check
to say.
Check your Discord.
I wish Biggie was with us when we were all going crazy in Tezos art.
Dude. I think he was there on his own doing it.
Of course he was.
To do it together.
But we had a lot of fun back in the day all together on Tezos.
I'll tell you that much, man. I was a lone wolf for too long, man. And it's really nice to find communities like these. It's just way more fun, dude, having these conversations. I agree with you, Cats. But I'm glad I'm here now, man. It's been a pleasure getting to know you guys.
Yeah, dude, you're a pure idiot. Like you should have been in years ago.
100%. What is this we're watching?
Oh, it's Bananakin. Do you know Bananakin?
I think I've seen him around. Yeah. Although I think I call him Banana King. I didn't know it was Kin. Okay. Yeah,
dude, he's a friend. He's a fantastic artist, and like honestly, okay. Loved his art always. Always loved his art, but I mean, there's some artists who just do their thing and you never know if they have like more in them in a way, if you know what I mean. Like, you know, if they're going to challenge themselves and grow. Holy shit, is he growing? Like, he is starting to get to this next level where I think his art is going to follow suit soon, as the prices of his art. Like, his shit is getting wild. Nice. English brother, welcome, man.
What's up?
Yo, what's going on, homies?
What's good? You gonna get on camera or no?
No, I'm still fucking laying down. I'm just on my mobile.
Cool.
I'll see if I do next Saturday.
Yeah,
the teleburn thing. So, like, here's the thing. It's really social consensus. And early on, there was something where, like, if you were, like, the first, it kind of meant something. So, like, if you were the first to, like, do it to your Bored Ape, and maybe there's going to be, like, it's really just what your market is, right? So you're talking about value. Are there going to be maybe, like, 5 people in the world that are Bored Ape enthusiasts and now have become ordinal enthusiasts, and do they value that? So I would actually say that being first, it's definitely gives you value in terms of compared to anybody else going rogue, but it's not really enough to make a market around it. It's a very niche type of thing. What you need is the artist, and I think it's exactly like Poppy was saying, the artist needs to say, hey, I'm officially teleburning this collection. They will provide a teleburn like link where it destroys the first one. If it's on Ethereum or Tezos, sends it to the burn address, it no longer exists. And then now it's inscribed on over there. That's universally seems to be accepted. It's how Frank D. Gods did his collection from Solana to Polygon to Ethereum, such and so forth. So that's like, everything is social consensus in this. We're playing like these things like where this imaginary JPEG in a way has like some value, and we all agree like, all right, cool, this has value to it. Whether it's a pointer on the chain, whatever it is. I mean, even to an extent, ordinals, the actual image is on chain on the block that it was inscribed in, but it's not inscribed to your Satoshi. Your Satoshi actually has a pointer to that because it would bloat there. So everything is kind of like this made up social consensus. So what the social consensus is if it's sanctioned by the artist founder and it's the whole collection and there's a burn mechanic, so it does not, you can't make it not exist on your chain. It just goes to the, that's another kind of social consensus thing. Like there's no thing of like burning an NFT. That's, it still exists on that chain. It's
Well,
just
now
like
on
can never be
Tezos, I think
bought or
it
sold.
truly burns it. I think.
Okay, I'm not familiar with Tezos.
Yeah.
Maybe Tezos can actually burn it. On Ethereum, you don't, right? You send it to the dead address,
Right.
and it just, it's dead, right? So there's no buying, selling. Nobody has access to it. They consider it not existing, even though technically you can go into that dead address and look it up. So yeah, I would say that if like Zancan said, hey, listen, fuck Tezos, I'm porting all my collections or one collection, that would be, because there's such an appetite for ordinals to have high-end art. That's the biggest value proposition that everybody was saying. It's the most secure, it's the most immutable by nature, even though a few Ethereum projects have on-chain art, but even then there's different degrees of on-chain art. Like I think even only a few collections actually have like the highest degree, and that means that like if you were to have a complete solar flare, all the servers are down, and somebody was able to spin up a node in like 1,000 years, it would still exist, right? That's kind of like the metric of on-chain. And so I think even autoglyphs, believe it or not, don't even fall into like that full one. CryptoPunks do. I believe Nouns does. But that's beyond the scope of it. I mean, all being said, I think you really do need that founder to say it. And like I was saying, there's the appetite, because you mentioned NFT Stats was talking about this, that like that collection that you were talking about, the golden ratio. He's like, this is very archetype art blocks type of stuff. And if this was dropped on art blocks, there's no way that this would be sitting at 3, 4, 5 ETH. Like art blocks the whole last year, they've kind of had failed collections in terms of like value historically. And because it's on ordinals and people have an appetite for good gen art, it's just valued different just because of the climate. Everything is on comps, and high-end art or really well received art typically goes from 0.2 to 0.5 on the high end. You saw that with that Mulan collection early on, which I was never a fan of, but people digged it. There wasn't really much original art. She did like these cool pixels that had geometric stuff, and people vibed with it. I think it ran to 0.5, like peak mania, and then it's retraced to 0.2, but that just seems to be the price point. If you're like in that 100 to like 1,000 maybe on the high end, probably that's a little bit high, but 500 and under, and if you have high quality art, it seems to run to 0.2. So it's really just about your competition on ordinals at the moment.
So is your take or is Stats take on golden ratio that it's overpriced or underpriced? I think
he well, no, his stance is that it's probably properly priced, but because Ethereum is so saturated and people are ready, and there's already established collections where people would rather put their money, like the quality of the art is like as good as any other art blocks drop. Yeah. Maybe not a legacy one that has a certain amount of provenance, but just in terms of the quality of the art, you know, what the message is, the execution on it. He said that that's an art block's quality, and you just don't see it that often. Right. But he's just saying it would underperform in Ethereum at this moment, just given the sentiment of Ethereum in general, and it's thriving. I think if this collection dropped in 2021, Ethereum, it would be priced about where you're at.
Any thoughts on that one in the future? Because that's one I'm pretty darn bullish on. I'm just trying to be smart about it before actually.
Here's the thing, art right now is okay. So I believe that during the Node Monkeys, which you know I'm a big fan of, that was going to be the top, and it seems to be around there. It felt the same way as when there was that last top and everybody went crazy after OXBT and a whole bunch of other projects minted, and there was like this land grab gold rush vibe. I got that to a lesser extent because maybe it's a little bit more mature and people are a little bit more skeptical, but I think that when you see art run up crazy, that's a top signal. And the first thing that's going to drop first is going to be the art as well. I think long term it's going to be a valued collection. I would be looking to be a buyer under 0.15, and I think it just retraced to that when you were looking at them. They were 0.2, maybe 0.12, maybe even gets to 0.1 if volume dries up. I do, Dota, Bear, Snake, they're all good friends of mine. I love Wizard Cult, but I do think what people were worried about in Node Monkeys, which didn't actually happen, which everybody FOMOs the top and then everybody loses money that's minting, that didn't happen. And then because that didn't happen, people had no problem FOMOing the top of shadow hats. I think people are going to lose a shitload of money on these shadow hats. And
0.2 is, man,
it's not worth
it's
it,
a
dude.
very pricey mint.
I go by comps. Here's the thing. So like the reason that I knew that Node Monkeys was well, because the comp was against frogs, regardless of frogs existing before and frogs being a free mint. It's a 10K premier collection that represents ordinals. That's all you, and it's that's all you really need to know. So I knew that would be the comp. The comp for this is Little Peepos. It's a 420 collection by Inscribed Pepes. When they came out, they minted 0.12 and their gen collection was sitting at 2 BTC. I would argue that the actual shadow hats are probably valued 2 to 3 BTC just based on sub 1K collections that are by actual teams, that are an actual collection and not just like some random image that somebody inscribed for fucking around. And so it's the same gen collection price, around the same collection size. Those minted 0.12, and because of like the ordinals is dead season, dropped all the way to 0.04, probably undervalued. Wow. It's sitting at 0.09. I would roughly say that this collection is probably valued at 0.05 to 0.1 fair market value. And when you have all these minters that just degen the hell out of it to be underwater by 50%, I think there's going to be a lot of shit talking on the timeline.
Damn, man, a lot of substance there, brother.
I hope I'm wrong. But that's what I've been weary of. I was like, the worst thing for ordinals is that this sells out at the top.
Yep, I agree with you entirely there. Dude, I was going to ask you if miners you think are a good buy, but I think the extra supply is already sold out, right?
Yeah, the 0.09.
Yeah,
so
damn,
I mean, I'll tell you this because I think Chip is
0.13.
going to announce it. So like, if you're bullish on hashlings and like the actual, I guess, passive income model, and I don't know it that well in terms of the technical things, but basically you can buy a rig and then they do this like pool, and their model is to flip like the hash rates from buying low to selling high. So they think that because of this mining, it's undervalued at the moment, and after the halvening, it becomes overvalued and they sell. So it's like a flip. You get this passive income from mining, but you also are buying, I guess, whatever the hash rate is at a low price, or and then it'll increase in value and you'll be able to flip it. And the miners will be a 2-to-1 ratio versus hashlings. They were at 0.09. I think hashlings has been around 0.03. I would say yes, it's a gen. You're looking at a close to sub 10K collection. They did sell out. I am on that team as well. And they have 7 more Node Monkeys to give away. So I mean, I would have bought one, but
it's a 10. We're talking miners right now.
Ordinal miners.
Yeah.
And
that's a 10K collection, or it's going to be.
No. Inscriptions. So like he inscribed that just over 10K inscriptions. Like that's not the collection size. That's what number it was inscribed at. Like sub 100K, sub 10K, sub 1K. The whole
collection is on a sub 10K inscription, or I'm
okay. So let's start from the beginning. So ordinal are different. So actually, the ordinals is actually just a name that people started calling NFTs on Bitcoin, but really it's an inscription. The idea that makes inscriptions possible is ordinal theory. So ordinal theory is making a sequential count of something. So there's the first one, the second one, the third one. So the first person that ever made an NFT on Bitcoin, they get inscription 1. The second person 2, so on and so forth. So he was like, his collection is around the 10,000th inscription that's ever been inscribed.
Okay, I guess my question is,
It's an OG collection, dude. That's all
well,
I'm saying.
okay, but the supply is increasing, or does he have this
Oh
already
no, dude,
minted?
it's the same. You can yeah. So that's another thing. So you it was inscribed all in February, dude. Like before Node Monkeys, way before Node Monkeys, and there's not going to be more. He just never released them. The same way
Got
Taproot
that.
Wizards.
That's
Yeah,
where I was wondering.
Here's a big thing that's different, and maybe this is not intuitive to everybody, is that unlike Ethereum or any kind of smart contract model, it's distributed, created when you mint it. Here, you actually like minting an NFT or mint Taproot Wizards is kind of a misnomer because it was minted when it was inscribed. The owner of the collection decides when to distribute it to the community, if ever.
Man, it's an interesting ecosystem. It's a lot different.
Well,
than, I guess what we're used to on Ethereum.
It is, and this was my argument why Node Monkeys wasn't a cash grab. So in my mind, a cash grab is when 9 times out of 10, it's a utility product because somebody's promising something. You hype up everybody, and then you don't deliver on a product that you don't even know what you're getting in terms of art because maybe they just shown like some fake sneak peeks or like bullshit. But here with Node Monkeys, it was art and provenance, and you could look through the whole collection and you can make a value assessment based on your own judgment and your history, and whatever price that you're willing to put, you're just buying a product based on your evaluation. There's nothing to deliver. There's no like obscure images in terms of art like previews. You know exactly what you're getting. So that was my argument. To me, a cash grab is like a Pixelmon, right? So it says we're gonna make this premiere game, the art's gonna be fire, and then basically they don't do shit and you get some shitty art and then you tuck tail. That's a cash grab. If you want fair market value, because the model for a while on Ethereum was you curate a whitelist, you price it pretty cheap or affordable for most people, and then some people can make money on secondary if it becomes more valuable on secondary. On ordinals, sometimes the approach is, hey, listen, this is my product. There's no royalties, even though royalties doesn't really exist on any chain anymore for the most part. I'm not really going to do more. I'm going to give it at fair market value based on the moment. And if it appreciates and you want to be a buyer, either because you enjoy it or you want to speculate on it accruing more value in the future, like, cool. And to a certain extent, I think maybe even like, so I was shit talking a little bit with Trevor's things. I'm a little bit annoyed at some politics from some OGs, but he was the first one to start fighting Node Monkeys, and now his mint's the same price that the fair Dutch auction ended at 0.03.
Yep.
And I don't think that his project is worth anything near in terms of like art provenance or just even his utility can't match Node Monkeys. So you're fudding a project. Basically, anybody who is bullish on it, you fudded them out of it because you're an influencer. And now they lost on a big opportunity. And now you're promoting your project that costs exactly the same and has, in my assessment, a lower value proposition. Who's the grifter?
Yeah, dude, I saw him even, am I thinking of the right project, but publicly apologize for some comments. Was that?
Dude, I mean, like, this is recorded. There's a lot of shit I can't tell you. I'll tell you. there's so much back end to it, dude. There's a bunch of OGs that don't like each other. You got to understand that Node Monkeys, that art is 100% native to Bitcoin and 100% original. It's not like some old collection that somebody had in their back pocket and was going to release on Ethereum and then decided to inscribe it. Like, that was it. And there's only one other people that were early enough. It was the Shrooms, and Shroom Toshi designed the collection in September, October. People knew about ordinals being a possibility back in mid 2002. The first ordinal was inscribed in December. In December, there was maybe 3 or 4 inscriptions, and there wasn't really much until it started to kick off. And what kicked that off? Early February, Udi inscribing Taproot Wizard 650 inscription, the first Genesis, 4 megabyte. It took, basically captured the attention of everybody. And then there was a rush to inscribe. So it took 1 month to get to like even 1,000. And then from 1,000 to 100,000, it took like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, to give you an idea. So my guess is that everybody pretty much knows that the founder of Node Monkeys is Rock Toshi, the guy who did Rocks, Ordinal Rocks or Bitcoin Rocks, and which was a sub 100K collection. So basically, this was his PFP project. And he said, all right, listen, I'm going to have a badass 10K collection. He was probably, in my guess, fine tuning the collection. And then all of a sudden kind of got front ran by Udi in terms of exposure and said, hey, I got to get this out. So between like when he was trying to fine tune it at 1,000 inscriptions and let me get this fucking, before this takes off, let me fucking inscribe these, probably 2 or 3 weeks. That's probably what it takes to like get all your shit together, make sure that the art is perfect, because you don't have a second chance at this. You can't fix it. And he inscribed it. So like, this is a very special collection. And that's why all the OGs threw 0.21 Bitcoin, 1 Bitcoin, 4 Bitcoin. It's a value proposition that will never exist again. I'm not saying there will be other collections that are more valuable. Maybe if it catches like the zeitgeist of ordinals and it becomes like the apes to the Node Monkeys punks. Yeah, it's possible. But if you have the chance to mint and get a random rare at a very cheap price, dude, it was the opportunity of a lifetime. And I was telling that to everybody. And there was a lot of people on the timeline led by Trevor who made a comment that really wasn't well received, and that he likened Rock Toshi at the time, Node Toshi, his other moniker, as being Nazi-like, and that got a lot of. So basically, there was a war between Trevor and Node Monkeys, and because Trevor is the face of ninjas, he was getting a lot of pushback, and that collection was going to suffer. So he had to get other people to FUD it. And after Node Monkeys did really, really well, it almost took away some shine from, because he lost the war. He lost the war against it. So the only way he can maybe get a little bit of advantage is if Node Monkeys takes a little bit of a backseat in the limelight.
Jesus, English. Like, yeah, I hearing you say these things, I want no part of either of those two communities. And I know it sounds like super blanket statement, carpet bombing, just the whole fucking thing and its potential. But I don't like hearing, stuff like this where we're so early and they just launched these collections and they're already getting into these little cat fights. Like there's still so much to do. Like I'd feel very uneasy, right? Like going into a project or a community like that where the leaders or founders of it are, I don't know, acting.
I agree with you. No, I agree with you there's a big sentiment within the OGs that they want this to stop because it's bringing
you want professionals at the helm, right? Like you want professionals at the helm. Like if you really do want to turn this, I mean, it's a PFP community project, and we know how hard those are to, to establish and then to also remain or keep going up, right? Like and if this is how they're starting out, I mean, there's going to be many challenges down the road, and yeah, it doesn't bode well to see that type of character in the leadership.
Yeah, I mean, this is just my take on it, and some people share the same sentiment. I don't think Trevor himself is a bad person, and I think he's done a lot of good for the space in terms of like his dedication to it and covering it on his show. I think maybe money and the success of his collection, and understandably so, you wanted to do well, and he was a little misguided. I think the sentiment from the Ordinal OGs is they want this to stop because Ethereum turned a little bit toxic towards like the bear market, and this feels like that kind of energy, which was a little bit different than when Ordinal started. You said you were like pretty early and picked up some pieces. Like the vibes were 100% different. And I would say that, to be fair, there really hasn't been much retaliation from Rock Toshi and the Node Monkeys. It was more like, hey, this is what we're doing. If you want to buy on the auction, cool. And after that, there hasn't been like a war in terms of two people going against each other. There was just a lot of FUD from Ordinal influencers about Node Monkeys, and then they pumped the puppets because the puppets were the counter to it. It's like they ended up missing the auction because they thought that the auction was going to sell high and everybody was going to lose money. Even when it sold out at 0.03, they said it would retrace to 0.01 or worthless and everybody would lose money. So all the influencers that fudded it, businessman.eth, Bugsy, all these other people, they started pumping the puppets because it was free. And they said,
the puppets mint was so artificial. You saw like Thread Guy and all Farouk and all these guys jump in. It just seemed like so cringe, to be honest.
I think so too, personally. But I think after that, for whatever reason, people did rally around it to be fair to that community. But I stayed away from it personally because it actually felt like a bait and switch. It felt like the influencers are telling you that Node Monkeys is a pump and dump and to fade it, when it's actually like a genuine collection. Raktoshi could be 1,000% a dickhead and 1,000% could have been malicious in his personal interactions, but he was never that way with like his community or the mint. Like maybe that's a character flaw in him, but like he's not the like leader of it. Like he wants to do nothing. He's not doxxed. He doesn't want art. I mean, he doesn't want utility. He's all about art and provenance. He just made the collection. And in ordinals, there is like that like specter of Satoshi where people like that, where it's like you make a collection and now it just exists and I'm going to walk away from it. And that was always the value proposition. I'm going to make this like a very CryptoPunks type of thing. Like Larva Labs, nobody cares what the Larva Lab founders do at this point. It's still going to be CryptoPunks. And so what happens is you have people that faded it and now they have to rally their army around something else. And that's what the puppets were. If the puppets launched a week before Node Monkeys, there wouldn't be so many people that had such a vested interest in rallying around it. And so yeah, these are, I mean, it's kind of a little bit of a mess, I think, in terms of like the ordinals culture. But at the end of the day, I think art and providence is hard to fade. With executing and having utility, you always have the risk of either you not making a misstep or somebody later on with more money and a better vision and a new technology usurping you. I just don't think that the value proposition of Node Monkeys can be usurped just by the nature of it being like at least the most sought after early 10K, even if you can argue that there's other ones that are earlier or just as early by other metrics. It seems based on volume, it seems based on PFP changes, it is the most sought after one. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of like weird politics going on. And will ninjas do okay? Maybe, but at 0.03, I think they're overvalued. And maybe I'm not the biggest fan of them, so you might think I'm biased, but I do think I love the Shadow Hats. I love Dota. I love the Wizards. I don't think they're grifters by any means. I do think that 0.2, they're overvalued. I'll just give you my honest sentiment. And I thought that Node Monkeys were undervalued at 0.03, and the market decided it doesn't really matter what I think. The market will tell you.
Man, I'm eyeballing them hard still. I am. And the fact that they've held their price so damn well. It's looking pretty damn tempting. I'll just say that. Guys, I want to wrap. We were going to stick to an hour and we did double. So you double the value? Yeah.
And entertainment.
Hell yeah. No, I love that. That was great. English, thank you so much, dude. You shared, like, again, I mentioned we've got some very, very knowledgeable Bitcoin people in our community. And we really, really do. So take advantage of that, guys. Like when these guys are talking, listen, because they work in the space. They know the space intimately. And so, again, these are guys you definitely want to be paying attention to. Guys, thanks so much for joining. Let me think if we have any other like kind of closing bits, but no, I think we covered a lot. Tomorrow back with another 5-minute morning update, talking the news, talking the market. And guys, I guess we'll see you then. Thanks for joining.
Get a quantum cat.
Get a quantum cat. That's okay. That's what you leave the show with. Do not
That's
kiss
alpha.
Quantum cats.
Yeah, I mean, if you're into like fading like once in a lifetime opportunities, even though once in a lifetime opportunities come like every week in this space. So
that
there
is truly a one though. Like honestly, it's different.
When's the mint, Huda, by the way?
I think not this week, but the week after. But like details coming this week.
Okay.
No, it's on the thread. So the auction for the 1 of 1 Genesis cat ends the 22nd, and I believe the other one's the 24th. So what's today? Today's the 13th. So 10 days.
Right on. Okay, cool. So I can sleep soundly and not fucking stressed, dude. It's
You're
been
good
a
for
hell of
now.
a fucking beginning of the year, man.
I'll give you a little bit of alpha on this show. It's
Great.
not public. It's not public sale. It's no collabs, and it's not a Dutch auction or any auction of that method. You're used to Taproot Wizards doing quests to be on whitelist, so I would expect to be on a quest to do this. So if you actually want one and want the privilege of paying for one, which is basically what a whitelist is, you will probably have to do a quest.
I'm gonna do the quest,
dude. I'll take that over fucking dealing with people in the mempool and.
I'm gonna do the quest. I will do every quest they put out there. I'm making this happen. I'm putting it out there in the open, in the public. I'm making it happen. I'm getting a quantum cat.
Right on, man.
Have a great weekend, guys.
You too.
See ya.
Take it easy.
Cheers.
Ciao.